Today I'm sharing 3 pancake recipes that are going to rock your weekend breakfast. I've had this pancake recipe on my channel since 2015. They are the holy grail of pancakes. And over the years, I've learned a few tips and tricks that were not in the original video, which is why we're doing this again today. First things first, we're gonna talk about measuring the flour real quick because this is the biggest thing that can make or break your pancake recipe. Most people take their scoop and dump it in the flour, and that right there is going to pack it real tight and give you more flour than you need, making your pancakes dense. What you want to do instead is use what I call the scoop and fill method, which is when you take a smaller scoop and grab the flour and then fill the measuring scoop with the amount that you need. So I'm taking 1 smaller scoop into my 1 cup and I'm filling it. I'm also tapping it to get the flour to settle, but not pack it. And then at the end, I just remove any excess from the top. And then I add the flour right into my bowl. To the flour, we're gonna add baking powder. Baking powder is what makes our pancakes fluffy. But one thing about it that you should know is that not all brands are the same. You want to look out for aluminum in your baking powder. This brand right here, as you can see, does not have it. But if you flip this over, take a look, aluminum. Now, aluminum has a metallic aftertaste that unfortunately tends to give many pancakes an aftertaste that you're wondering, what did I do wrong with my recipe? So make sure that when you're at the store looking for baking powder, you're looking for one that's aluminum free. They're both cost about the same. Now that you know, I'm gonna add the baking powder in my flour. And I'm also going to add a tiniest bit, a pinch of salt and a little bit of sugar. And I'm going to mix these really well. Now onto our wet ingredients. In the middle of my bowl, I'm going to make a well, which just means some space for us to add the rest. I have an egg, which I'm going to crack and place it in there. And now my milk. You can use any milk that you have on hand for this. I'm also adding some melted butter, which gives these pancakes some moisture and rich flavor, and also some vanilla. If you don't have any, don't worry. One quick tip is to use a fork to break the egg up in the middle and then start to mix it with the rest of the other ingredients. And slowly but surely incorporate the dry ingredients into the mixture. And as you can see, I'm simply mixing from the outside of the bowl in until the batter is nice and smooth, but it's not perfect. A few lumps in there are totally okay. Now let me show you a close-up of what the batter looks like. Now it might be a little thicker than what you're used to. Don't worry, I'm gonna show you all the tips and tricks to cooking them the right way. But if what you want are fluffy pancakes, then your batter should look like this. Now you can cook your pancakes in a large non-stick pan over your stove or using a griddle, which is what I'm gonna do today, so I can cook more of them at once. You're gonna wanna cook these pancakes over medium heat, and once the surface is hot, you're going to grease it with either butter, oil, or spray. Now immediately, right after, you're gonna wanna pour about 1/4 of a cup of pancake batter per pancake. And as you can see, when I pour it right on the surface, I'm using my scoop to spread the batter on the pan. Now these are gonna cook on the first side over medium heat for about 2 minutes. You know they're ready to be flipped over when the sides are looking pretty defined and some bubbles are starting to form throughout your pancake. I like to flip them over in the same order that I poured the batter. Now these are gonna cook for about 1 minute to 2 on the other side. Sometimes it seems like your pancakes are burning, but it's not the pancakes, it's the butter. You wanna avoid pressing the pancakes down with the spatula. That's only gonna give you dense pancakes. By the way, if you find tips like that one helpful, give this video a thumbs up so I know to always add them for you. Now these are ready. I'm just going to stack them up nice and high. After a while, your pan or griddle is gonna be too hot to keep cooking pancakes. And you know this because if you grease it with butter or even spray or oil, it's going to darken or burn really quickly. What you wanna do in that case is turn off the heat. And if you have a pan, you could run it under cold water in the sink to cool it down and start the process again. One way I cool down my griddle is I take 2 ice cubes and melt them on the hot surface. I just use my spatula to move it all around. This cools it down real quick. Round 2, here we go. This recipe yields 12 pancakes, which is just great for me. I recommend cooking the rest of the batter and storing your pancakes in the fridge in a container or zip bag for up to 3 days. You could also freeze them for up to 3 months. The first thing we want to do is measure our dry ingredients in a smallish bowl. To the flour, I'm going to use baking powder, and then to that, I'm going to add a pinch of salt. Let's combine those and set it aside. This recipe calls for 1 banana, but you could add up to 2 bananas. What you want to look out for is bananas that have some brown spots. That means that they're ripe and they're going to be sweeter. You could even use the very dark, super brown bananas that you forgot on your counter. Those work too. To mash your banana, you could place it directly in the bowl and use a fork to mash it down really well. But what I like to do is take my banana, place it in a zip bag and mash it really well. That gives you a really good creamy texture. And I just grab some scissors, cut the tip, and add my mashed banana right into the bowl. To the banana, I'm gonna add the rest of my wet ingredients. The first one being 1 egg, and then the milk. You can use any milk that you have on hand for this. I'm also gonna add some melted butter. It makes it so delicious. And then a little bit of vanilla if you have it. Grab a fork and mix these really well. As you can see, a few banana lumps remain, that's okay. And now we take our dry ingredient mixture and add it. And mixing from the outside of the bowl in, I'm going to incorporate them together. This batter is on the thick side, but it is airy. It's all those bananas in there. Now that batter is ready, you are gonna cook these up. You could cook these in a large non-stick pan, or I'm gonna use a griddle so I can cook more of them at once with you. First things first, let's heat up our pan or griddle over medium heat. And once the surface is hot, I'm gonna take some butter, but you can use oil or spray to grease it really well. And immediately pour about 1/4 cup of pancake batter on the hot surface. As you can see, I am using my scoop to spread the batter, because it is quite thick, on the surface. These are gonna take about 2 minutes on the first side. You wanna wait until you see that the edges are nice and defined and some bubbles have started to form throughout your pancake. Then you're gonna take your spatula and flip them in the same order that you pour the batter so they're all cooked evenly. You're gonna cook another 2 minutes on the second side, and when they're ready, I'm gonna remove them from the pan onto a plate and stack them high. Check out how good they look just by themselves. And I wanna add a little bit of butter, some more banana slices on top, and let's dig in with that syrup. Oh, holy moly, these are incredible. The fluffy texture, all of it. To make these pancakes, you're gonna need some milk. Now, I'm gonna use unsweetened almond milk today, but you can use regular dairy milk or whatever milk you use at home. After that, we also need eggs. Eggs are a binding ingredient in this recipe. They're gonna give it that cakey, moist texture that we all love in pancakes. Of course, they are a banana oatmeal pancakes, so we are gonna use a large banana. This one already has brown spots in it, so it's gonna be a little sweeter, so I don't have to add any sugar or honey to the recipe. For today's recipe, I'm using old-fashioned oats. Old-fashioned oats have larger flakes. I love to use them in a lot of recipes on this channel. I always keep them in my pantry. And if you don't have old-fashioned oats, you can use quick or instant oats for this recipe as well. To give our pancakes a little lift, you're gonna use baking powder. Baking powder is essential for the recipe so you don't have flat and hockey puck like pancakes. And at the very end, we add a little pinch of salt to activate the baking powder in this recipe. Now what I love is that everything is gonna go in our blender. We're gonna put our liquid ingredients at the bottom, starting with the milk, and then the eggs, and then our banana, finally our oats, baking powder, and salt. Together, we're gonna put on the lid on our blender. We're gonna blend it up in slow speed just until the banana is combined. If your blender has a smoothie button, hit that one. You'll have a nice, smooth consistency for about 40 seconds. As soon as you don't see any large oat flakes anymore in your batter, it's probably ready. Today, I'm using my electric griddle just so I can make more pancakes at once. And if you want to spray yours, or you want to take a stick of butter like I do and grease the entire griddle, that works too. I just use a measuring scoop, but you can pour it, I guess, directly or scoop it right onto your griddle. Now my griddle is set to medium-high heat, about 325, 350. You don't want to put it too hot or you'll burn the outside. Oh, these smell like muffins, but on a pan. So as you can see, our edges are defined. The pancake batter has started to already cook on the edges, and that's when we want to flip it. And it's gonna cook on the other side for about another minute or so. So let's give this other one a flip too. I mean, perfectly golden, all the little air pockets from blending our oats and banana. This is one hearty breakfast you're certainly gonna love. Let me show you what the stack looks like up close. See you next time.